valuable top 8 slots. There on the left-hand side, you see Noah Walker, Timur Delver, 11-3, and Ed Demicco's on the right, also 11-3 with Izzet Delver.
Yeah, both smiles at the start of the match.
All smiles thus far.
Yeah, we'll see you smiling at the end of the match.
I think only one smile remains at the end. Demicco, Stifle in the deck.
Yep.
Taking a more aggressive line, looking to choke opponents on mana, more burn spells, 2 Chain Lightning, 4 Lightning Bolt, no Renin 6. That is the big change here.
Definitely.
More basics as well. That's another big change.
Yeah,
there
so
you see Basic Island.
When I look at this matchup, yeah, the big difference is, obviously, it's the extra color, but that means Noah has more opportunities to get mana screwed in the matchup.
Sure.
Wasteland matters much more against him. And like you said, Ed gets to play 3 basics, so if he wants to play around the opposing Wastelands, he can do it all day.
It's a valuable spot to be in. And look, there's a lot of power left on the table when you're not picking up Renin 6, for sure. That is undeniable. But sometimes aggression can just get the job done. Noah Walker, though, aggressive start of his own. Played a turn 1 Delver, flipped it blind with a Lightning Bolt. Demicco had a Vapor Snag, but Noah reloaded immediately. 2 Delvers on the battlefield. Draw for Demicco. We saw a Lightning Bolt picked up. There's a Fiery Islet. Going to take a little damage from that to make red mana, I bet. Lightning Bolt time. Take out one of those Delvers. Is going to hit the bin. Passes the turn back to Walker. Here's our Delver reveal. Slow rolling, swing and a miss. Goes to hand. Delver will remain a 1-1. Nothing worse than that Delver sweat.
There's nothing better.
Depends which side you're on, I guess. Here's the weak version of Delver. Heading in for 1 damage. And there you see Stifle from Demicco.
Oof.
Looking to constrain Noah Walker's mana here. Noah just going to go ahead and cast a Preordain. Notably keeping Noah off green here by stifling that fetch land.
Yeah, so as you move up the curve, Ed Demicco's looking at Young Pyromancer. Not insane in this matchup, but then he has True Name Nemesis, which is just like...
That's a big one.
Yeah, that's the big boy. On the opposing side, Tarmogoyf and True Name Nemesis. I really like Tarmogoyf in this matchup, as long as there's not a True Name Nemesis running around.
I think as long as there's not a True Name Nemesis, and as long as a Young Pyromancer hasn't stuck on the battlefield for some turns, you basically can chump block a Tarmogoyf in perpetuity. But very, very difficult to get Tarmogoyf off the battlefield for this Izzet Delver deck.
Yeah, and I just don't see Young Pyromancer living for more than a turn or 2.
Yeah, mostly agree with you. And that's part of the reason you've seen this switch to Rug Delver. It's really effectively squeezed out these Izzet Delver decks. This was the big evolution post the printing of Dreadhorde Arcanist. I picked up a Mox playing this Izzet Delver strategy down at the last Invitational. Very, very powerful deck, but seemed to be a bit invalidated in the face of these new Rug builds.
Well, Ed's plan is working out pretty well so far. The Stifle on the fetch land followed by Wasteland. Pretty strong.
Noah with a land-heavy draw, though. Has another fetch land. Only 19 lands in the Timur Delver deck, so to have seen this many thus far, I'd say running a bit above average. Normally you'd bemoan that, but here, very happy to have all these lands coming off the top of the library. 2 mana tap for Noah Walker. It's Renin 6 time.
I don't think we can let that one resolve.
It's a scary card. Brainstorm, Force of Will, Volcanic Island in hand for Ed Demicco. Ed is just going to go ahead and cast Force of Will. Renin 6 will not resolve, but mostly out of gas on Ed's side. Here's a nice way to reload. Ponder off the top of the library. Look at the top 3 cards. Young Pyromancer, land, Stifle. Interesting choice here.
Yeah, it's pretty tempting to keep this group of cards, right? And he showed Noah.
I just flashed it to him.
Yeah.
These are 2 players know their way around a Delver matchup. Probably a little commentary on how effective Young Pyromancer is in the matchup. Ed saying, oh, just die anyway. Blind draw from Ponder. Plays Volcanic Island. 1 card in hand for Ed. Passes back to Noah. Who's going to stick the first big threat in this matchup? Here's another attempt at a big one. Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Yeah, that's not Wrenn and 6, but if it lives for a turn, it's
oh, yeah.
You know, it's going to get the job done.
You go fishing for that Preordain, you're going to feel pretty good about Dreadhorde Arcanist. Ed's going to go ahead and crack that Fiery Islet. Brainstorm is the next play. 3 cards come to hand. Saw a Wasteland there. That sounds pretty good. If not for Dreadhorde Arcanist, can he do both? Find a Lightning Bolt, maybe.
And it's so fun watching these matchups where each player can just leverage all the resources, and they just end up with so few cards to work with, so few lands on the board, because you just use everything.
Yep. This is Legacy to me.
Yes.
These matchups, this is what I think of when I'm thinking high-level Legacy, great games of Magic. Is it Delver, Teamer Delver? Almost certain to deliver. Especially with players of this caliber.
Yeah, there's so many little decisions to make. What cards do I keep off of Brainstorm and Ponder? When do I shuffle these cards away? Do I want to play into Daze? Do I want to worry about Stifle? All of this stuff just makes every decision so interesting.
Having a careful think here. Keeping Stifle. A Wasteland, maybe? We're still deciding. Okay, Wasteland deployed.
I was going to say, it looked like...
doing things a little out of order here, but I do think we've got 2 cards on top of the library now.
Yeah, so he went to put 2 back. He changed his mind.
Right. I wonder if he's going to stifle this Arcanist trigger. He is. Look at that. I like it. I like it. You're not going to get much more value out of that Stifle.
Well, it's tough because you just put your opponent on 1 land, right?
Right.
And so it just seems so tempting to save that Stifle for the next fetch land.
I think if you give them a Preordain, though, they're going to find exactly what they're looking for anyway. Maybe be able to set up multiple fetch lands running. I don't know. It was aggressive, but I think for Ed to win this game, he's got to make those kind of plays right now.
Sure, but... I don't know. He's going to be staring at the same problem next turn, right?
He is. He is. And do we have a solution? True Name Nemesis?
Never mind.
Okay. That changes things a little bit if Noah doesn't have an answer here. Yeah, I saw the point, too. He named Noah. Big surprise. And now there's a choice for Noah if we're going to go ahead and get that Preordain out of the bin. And now it makes sense to you, Craig, right?
Yeah,
Why you'd want to go ahead and stifle aggressively there.
Yeah, I like this line.
Noah, though, with another cantrip. Ponder.
And
shuffle time.
It's extra interesting because Ed has to decide next turn, am I the aggressor? Yeah. You know, if Noah finds an evasive threat this turn, it gets real hard for Ed not to attack, right?
I just think Ed is so resource light at this point. Noah's deck is better at generating persistent resources. I think you have to commit to being the aggressor. There's young Pyromancer. Ed says no, gonna hold back. There is one of the few persistent resource generators in Ed's deck. Young Pyromancer can get out of control if given enough time, but we already commented on how unlikely that is.
Yeah, I mean, Ed can take this turn off from attacking. Next turn, if he draws a cantrip or a removal spell or a cantrip into a removal spell, he's just going to have so much more information. Oop, never mind.
Spell Snare is the answer from Noah Walker. Here comes True Name Nemesis.
And I think I do like this. With Noah's...
Once Noah goes to 12,
yeah, life at an even 12.
Yep.
You got to get busy here. He's not going to be able to get the True Name off of the board. No way to do that in his deck.
Yep.
So you just say you got 3 more turns.
Yep.
Maybe only 2 more turns if I draw a Lightning Bolt or a Chain Lightning. Let's do this.
Yeah, put Noah to the test. Make him find something on the top of his library. Hope you find something to accelerate the clock just a little bit. If Ed can find a Lightning Bolt or a Chain Lightning, I like his odds here. I don't know if he's going to get 3 attacks. I'm pretty sure he's going to get 2.
I don't know. Like Noah's not doing much. The attack for 1 generates tons of card advantage.
Right. Well, that's the problem. It's not only card advantage, it's card selection, too. You're going 3 cards deep and likely to find something else.
But yeah, he needs to get more pressure on the board because his life total is pressured here. He's way behind when it comes to this race.
Agreed.
I mean, there is the chance if he plays a creature here, he's got tons of cards in his hand. There we go.
There's a creature. It's True Name Nemesis. Noah is going to fall to 8.
And now Noah's set up for kind of like a lightning bolt attack with my guys. Dreadhorde cast the lightning bolt.
Oh, second True Name Nemesis off the top. And now, win this turn or it's over. What do you got, Noah?
So many haymakers.
Yeah. Huge turns from these players.
Oh, it's got to be a lot of lightning bolts. It would have to be a lot of lightning bolts.
I don't think they're there.
You know, 2 bolts from his hand, 3, 6, 9, 10. No, that's not
even it. Yeah.
Wow.
I think this is a wrap. I think Ed found the winning line.
Just keep drawing True Name Nemesis.
Yeah.
That was the winning line.
That's often a good one.
Yeah.
So I tend to play these matchups too. Just keep drawing True Name. Yeah, Noah's going to scoop him up, and Ed Demicco takes game 1 of a Delver, almost mirror. But the aggression of Ed's Is It Delver list really paid off in spades there. Able to find some timely stifles, timely True Name Nemesis.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Noah was like so far ahead on resources, right?
Right.
But it didn't matter because Ed was able to get him dead before he could leverage those resources.
Ed's got to shorten the game. That's the way Ed's going to win here. If he's able to shorten the game, I like Ed's odds. Why don't we look at sideboarding here? We'll start over on Noah's side. There you see 2 Surgical Extraction, 1 Force of Negation, 1 Jace the Mind Sculptor, 1 Abrade, 1 Ancient Grudge, 1 Crop Rotation, 1 Pyroblast, 1 Red Elemental Blast, 1 Vapor Snag, 1 Submerge, 1 Caracas, 1 Hydroblast, 1 Magmatic Sinkhole, 1 Dismember. I'm going to start forcing these Temur Delver players to play some multiples. That takes a lot out of me to read all those cards. What do you like if you're on Noah's side?
Yeah, the easy inclusions are like Pyroblast and Red Elemental Blast. They're so efficient at any counterspell fights. They're one of the few ways that you're going to be able to battle against those True Name Nemesis when they're on the stack. I can see the Vapor Snag. I can see the Vapor Snag. Obviously, the Hydroblast is as good as the Pyro Blast and the Red Blast when you're fighting for things. And maybe the Magmatic Sinkhole as an efficient answer to an opposing threader, but it's very possible that Noah feels like he already has enough things. You know, the lightning bolts in his main deck are just better than that.
Right.
And so he doesn't want that card.
We'll have to see how he takes his approach here. Meanwhile, over on Ed's side, Ed, thank you so much for these multiples. I truly, truly appreciate it. 3 Surgical Extraction, 3 Smash to Smithereens, 2 Pyroblast, 2 Force of Negation, 2 Bedlam Reveler. That's an interesting one from the Is It Delver sideboard. 1 Vapor Snag, 1 Pithy Needle, and finally 1 Echoing Truth. Anything you like over on Ed's side?
Yeah, so the Pyroblast are the easy one. It gets a little interesting after that. If I'm Ed, there's more cards. Like the Planeswalkers are problematic, right? Like they're just so good, and so I say, do I really want Force of Negation here, maybe to fight back against these Planeswalkers, or do I just want a Pithing Needle as a proactive answer? So that's going to be interesting to see if he feels like those cards are good enough in this matchup. A lot of times it just comes down to creatures on turns 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
And you don't want these clunky, awkward cards in your hand.
What do you think about those Bedlam Revelers, Greg? Any interest?
Very similar to me, where it's like, sure, if the game played out the way that this game 1 played out,
right?
Yeah, it looks awesome to draw that in the mid game and slam it and refill your hand. But if it's one of those games where Noah comes out ahead, he resolves a Planeswalker, he's the one who gets True Name Nemesis down first.
Right.
You really don't want that Bedlam Reveler just clogging up your hand in the early game.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think if Ed had a little bit more interaction for True Name on the stack, I'd be more on board with that approach. Only the 2 Pyroblasts and, you know, your usual suite of counter spells. I have some pause, but I can also see the merit in the plan too. I mean, Noah Walker's removal doesn't line up all that well against Bedlam Reveler. I think you could talk yourself into it in that fashion.
Sure. Sure, I could see that. A lot of times, so it's interesting. Daze is one of the more common cards to side out. But especially in Ed's list, he has 4 Stifle and 4 Daze and 4 Wasteland, and this is kind of a package that all works together. And you don't want to take out Dazes and leave in Stifles, right? That doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
So it'll be extra interesting to see what he does there.
I could see some big changes from Ed depending on whether he's on the player draw in this matchup. I think that's very, very determinative of exactly how he's going to sideboard here. Craig, I'll tell you, watching this match has me itching to play specifically Legacy, but really all forms of Magic. This is exactly what I love about the game. And if you're itching to play Magic, no better place to do it than SCG Game Night. Every single week in September, you'll be able to pick up Chasing Your Trail tokens and sleeves. Look at that beautiful wolf token there. Be able to use that with some of the cards in Standard. We mentioned Night Pack Ambusher previously. Maybe you'll be playing that one. Need some wolf tokens. Why not head down to Star City Games Game Night? If you need more information, go to go.starcitygames.com/game night.
I like that artwork.
It's a cool one. Very cool. You'll be sleeving up in those wolf sleeves in the future.
So if you couldn't be a squirrel token,
Wolf
what's
on the
next
table?
in line?
Wolf's on the table, for sure. I mean, now the hot token's the food token, right?
Sure.
Able to do that. Everyone wants to be a food token. If the invitational winner this time around doesn't choose food as their token, I will be shocked. Absolutely shocked.
Well, I wonder if the... I've had conversations. It would be funny if the invitational winner just always made a new Monarch token.
Okay. That's good. Very
like that, that's funny, right?
Yeah, new Monarch.
Like the old Monarch could be in the background.
Sure.
Maybe like sword through him or something.
Yeah, I like that a lot. No mulligans for either player here. Noah Walker going to lead things off with a Ponder. Looks like a couple of Delvers over in Ed's hand. Maybe able to get out to a fast start here. I'd rather play Delver than Ponder on turn 1, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, for sure.
We're getting a shuffle here from Noah.
But I want to see the early game clashes, where you have to worry about days and you really decide what you want to force a will or not.
Yep.
So like a Delver on Ed's side, followed by Ren and 6 on Noah's side, and then a fight over it. Like those are the friction points that I want to see.
Oh yeah, and these early turns will snowball throughout the rest of the game. They really set the pace for exactly how this matchup's going to play out. Here is a Flooded Strand from Ed. Gonna crack that. There you see Bedlam Reveler.
I guess he likes the Bedlam Reveler.
Trying to keep an eye out for how many Stifles. I saw a Stifle.
I saw a Daze.
Okay, so maybe we're trimming a little bit. Yeah, I didn't see a whole lot of them. Interesting. Here's that Delver of Secrets. Looks like it's going to stick. And now you see
Craig
why.
gets what he wants.
It is time for Ren and 6.
Oh,
Ed
there's
says,
no fight.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And let's see if this Ren and 6 can just run away with the game here. It has the potential to do so. Note, only a basic on Ed's side, so you're not going to get Wasteland locked out of the game if you're Ed.
No, but you said he started with 2 Delvers in his hand. He can't even deploy another creature to try to threaten that Ren and 6.
Nope, you got to clean that up first. See a Pyroblast in hand. There's a Chain Lightning. That's a potential answer. For a brief period, anyway. Wasteland from Ed.
Does he not have the red source?
That is my question, and I think the answer is yes. And I don't think he can compete in this game without a red source here, because you know top 2 cards of the library, also not a red source. Noah, going to get some card advantage from a 2-mana Planeswalker. Totally reasonable.
Yeah, and just very patient here.
Second Wasteland, no red source. And that means Ren and 6 going to grow out of control. Also, Ren and 6 kind of invalidates this Wasteland plan. And like, unless you're going to kill every land in Noah's deck, there'll always be more fetch lands. And you see so many players drawn to this Teamer version of the Delver list exactly for this reason. Ren and 6 is a game-deciding card.
But it's okay because it's expensive.
Right. Large investment. Large resource investment.
Well,
you get what you paid for.
It's a financial investment.
That's true. That is accurate. Here's a Wasteland from Noah. Turn head back to Ed. There's that chain lightning we saw previously.
Yeah, so awkward.
Yeah. Tough beats for Ed here.
You know, on the other side, Noah's, he's not doing a lot, but he is just gaining so much resource advantage along the way.
Right. Yeah, maybe it's worth noting that no clock from Noah yet. Just a Ren and 6 ticking up. If Ed had like Hydroblast in his deck, I would be more okay with this situation. But with the absence of Hydroblast, this Ren and 6 getting out of Chain Lightning range. Oh, and there's the threat. There's the Tarmogoyf. It has to be forced. No choice. I agree. Like we mentioned, not many ways to get Tarmogoyf off the battlefield for the Izzet Delver deck. Takes a draw. It's Spell Pierce. Not what we were looking for. One more time. Ren and 6 continues to tick up. Continues to generate persistent advantages. Oh, goodness. Yeah, just trading Wastelands back and forth happily.
Yeah, and I like this out of Noah. He's saying if you draw a second blue source, I'm not going to get blown out by a True Name Nemesis here.
Oh, and we looked at the top 3 via Ponder, and we still didn't find a red source. Scary times for Ed. I don't think Ed's out of it yet, but the window is closing very rapidly. Take his draw here. So Wasteland.
Oh, what a tease. Oh, man.
It's so funny. If Noah doesn't have Ren and 6 in his hand, this is a brutal opener from Ed. Like, absolutely brutal. But he had Ren and 6. So.
Yep.
Here's a Preordain. Noah still searching for a threat, although that Ren and 6 threatening to ultimate very soon. That'll be threat enough for sure.
Yeah, the Ren and 6 ultimate just turns into the lightning bolt machine gun.
Yep. Yeah, somehow the ultimate is still game winning, despite the fact that it's a 2-mana Planeswalker. What a card. Wasteland's back. And now here's a Dread Horde Arcanist. Days in hand for Ed. Gonna go ahead and use that. Makes sense to me. And we're headed back to Ed's turn. Ed finds a Brainstorm. Probably redeploying the island here anyway, but I don't know what Ed's supposed to do here.
Well, it's possible we see Ed Brainstorm next turn and then just concede, right? Like, if he Brainstorm locks himself, he doesn't Vital Land this time.
Yeah, that's probably enough to do it.
But we're hoping for more magic.
Oh, I'd be very happy with the game 3 here. No complaints from me whatsoever. Here is a True Name Nemesis. The stickiest of threats. The real sticky icky is True Name Nemesis. That was too many words for me to attempt. I don't even know why I tried to do that, Craig. There's the scoop. Brainstorm and scoop, I bet. It's coming. Let's do it. No, Ed's a warrior. Ed's battling this one out.
Yeah, let's grind.
Ren and 6 about to ultimate. True Name Nemesis on the battlefield. Ed says, I'll never bow. Time for some more Wasteland exchanges.
Yeah, Noah will do this all day, especially now that he's got, you know, the threat that can't be interacted with on the board.
Well, we did find our red source here. Let's go get that. And get a basic mountain. Beautiful revised lands.
They look nice and faded.
From Ed. I love them. Well worn. Chain Lightning. We're going to prevent that ultimate from Ren in 6.
Oh, we finally found our red source, and this is the turn we have to take.
Right.
Oh, that's so painful.
Doesn't feel great.
And that didn't even do anything.
No.
Like, he's still in the same spot, right?
Yep, nothing was accomplished. Yep, the only difference is now there's a true name Nemesis attacking. Trying to end the game as quickly as possible.
Noah's discarding. He's got too many cards.
I love that Noah plus Ren in 6 on the turn he could have ultimated. I think that showed a lot of discipline. Was cognizant of the only possible way to lose this game would be to give up that Ren in 6.
Yeah, it's just doing too much for him right now.
Right.
And if you ever ultimate it, it's really nice to have 2 or 3 more lands just sitting in your hand.
Absolutely.
But I mean, Noah's hand has to just be, just a bunch of blasts all wrapped up.
I would assume so.
I mean, that's the reason that he has only blue and red sources on the board right now instead of a blue-green source.
Yep, just not necessary. Ponder is going to resolve. Ed had to shuffle. Finds another wasteland. I feel like Ed has drawn 42 wastelands this game.
Oh, man.
Here's an attempt at a Dreadhorde Arcanist. Ed knows. Says, I know your hand. Absolutely full of counter magic. Noah able to cash in Fiery Islet for a card. Noah doesn't have enough cards. Pretty greedy right now from Noah. Give me all the cards.
Yeah.
Send them all my way.
Yeah.
Here's a wasteland on your wasteland.
Yeah, I like how Noah, he's only wastelanded opposing wastelands this game. A lot of times he's done it when the opposing wasteland could still blow up one of his lands.
Sure, what does he care? He's got a Ren in 6.
Does not care.
Here's another attempt from Ed. It's Pyromancer. Yeah, that's going to do it. Ed has had enough.
I've had enough.
Yeah, everyone has had enough of that game. Ren in 6 displaying its very clear power in that game.
Yeah, it just invalidated so much of Ed's hand there.
Yep, it absolutely did. Let's keep an eye out and see if Ed goes back to the sideboard here. I think there's a very good argument, as I said, for major adjustments between the play and draw. Saw we were trimming probably some copies of Stifle, some copies of Daze. It looked like the Bedlam Revelers made the cut. We know the Blast made the cut.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised not to see any blue blasts out of Ed's deck.
It's interesting. It's interesting. They became, Blue Blast isn't as ubiquitous in the format as Pyroblast is. Certainly don't see it as often. But when the time is right, the card starts ticking up. And with the advent of this Is It Delver deck, the new Dreadhorde Arcanist versions, it started ticking up. Basically, as soon as this was on the scene, you started putting some Blue Blast in the deck for the mirror. I think that's only gotten more and more important as time has gone on with the addition of Ren in 6 to the format.
Yeah. Yep.
So what kind of adjustments are you looking at if you're on Ed's side? I know I'm the one pushing this play-draw change, but is there anything you see that you might want to do?
No, I'm not sure if you make any big adjustments. Like we said, it looked like he had shaved on Stifles and Dazes, and there's a good argument to be made for shaving them but still leaving some of each. So your opponent doesn't really know which one they need to play around.
Okay.
You're giving your opponent more opportunities to make mistakes by having only 1 or 2 of each of these cards in your deck, right?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I might just go up to the full package on the play. I think Stifle is such a more powerful card on the play. Okay. I think the Mana Denial package worked very well in Game 1. And I think if Noah's deck does its thing, I think it's better than Ed's deck. I think Ed is reliant on stopping Noah's deck from optimal performance. And the best way to do that is restricting mana. Well, you see all the participants down there in the feature match area, comfortably lounging in those custom Carnox gaming chairs.
My posterior has been nicely nestled in this.
I am just so comfortable. It's amazing.
Cushy chair.
I'm able to stay awake this late in the show. I should just be sleeping in this beautiful Carnox gaming chair. Of course, Carnox has our backs. They'll get your back. 10% at checkout can be saved when you visit Carnox.com. SCG.
But it's September.
It is also September.
Half off chairs?
No, Craig, no. Chairs are not half off. No.
I'm
Don't
still
tell the people
confused
that.
about
That's not how it
this September
works.
thing.
Not how it works. 10% off chairs. Still a fantastic deal. Not half off, though. Also, if you get a Carnox gaming chair, I'll come to your house and sit in it. I'll break it in for you.
Eat subs in your chair.
You can do that. I will allow that.
September.
Yes.
Okay.
While watching the channels that you are Twitch subbed to. With your
Wow.
half off Twitch subs for September.
Look at that.
Yes. In a submarine.
In a submarine.
Just took it to the next level.
Jeez.
Underwater. Periscope up. Chilling.
September.
It's a glorious time of the year. Looks like Noah's on a mulligan here, I believe. Stifle gets even better in that scenario.
It does.
I didn't catch if Ed made any adjustments, but if I was Ed, I'd be pretending to make adjustments at the very least. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, are you one of those?
Yeah.
In between every round, you always shuffle your sideboard into your deck?
No, I don't do the full 15, but on the play draw, whether I have changes or not, I look to make some substitutions.
Sure.
I think that is valuable information to give to your opponent, especially if I'm playing like Legacy Delver. I think that's very valuable information because it points to, are you adjusting your numbers of days Stifle? And if you're not representing that, there's just some clear information being given to your opponent. Now, granted, they don't know exactly what was in your deck, but they can estimate based on the frequency of those cards.
Well, and a lot of the games go pretty long where
Sure.
they see a good portion of your deck.
Sure. And making those kind of moves, they're just no cost. I think they do have some marginal value. It's like playing snow-covered basics, basically. You're priced in at this point.
Oh, don't tell the people that. Oh, why'd you do that? And you're one of the people that has to type up these deck lists.
That's true. I should be looking out for my own self-interest
Yeah,
here.
when people just register a bunch of different snow-covered lands for no reason.
We get punished.
That's
We suffer.
Just extra clicks on the keyboard that we have to do.
Interesting start to this game. Ed led on just an island. Untapped, did nothing else. Noah, though, played Volcanic Island. Attempted to cast Ponder. Ed had Spell Pierce at the ready, and now Ed is going to go ahead and cast Ponder. What does he find? Fetch land, Fiery Islet, Ponder.
It's a pretty good Ponder.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he was really looking for a wasteland here. That's
Sure.
my guess. But this is going to be hard to pass up. Let's see what Ed says. Ed likes it as well. Volcanic Island, Ponder again. Let's do it one more time. It's going to be good.
It looked like a Bedlam Reveler in his
Absolutely
hand. So
was.
it made tons of sense
Yep.
that he would just cycle Ponders into Ponders as much as possible.
Yep, jam those Ponders right now. I do believe that's what Ed is building towards right now, casting that Bedlam Reveler.
And this is an interesting decision because he wants to keep making land drops. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he wants two
Make 3
lands.
of them, yeah.
Well, so he's got to draw one here.
Yeah.
Next turn he draws one, and then he
Can fetch.
crack a fetch land.
He did keep on top.
Yes, it just feels awkward casting a Ponder and just being like, I'm going to end up with 2 lands because of this.
Here's another Ponder from Noah. Takes a look at the top 3. Is that hand Reveler, double True Name, Chain Lightning, one more card? That's what I thought I saw.
I mean, if that's the hand, this game could be over in a hurry. I mean, then it would make perfect sense why you kept land on top, right?
Right. I'm not 100% on those cards to the left of Bedlam Reveler. I think he already has a land in hand as well. Well, I am very interested if I have this correct, because that is a powerful hand in this matchup, if so. Got some updates from other matches going on. It sounds like Orr, Patel, Kohler, and Reinhardt all winners this round. Now, we don't know who among those are locks. I think there's a good chance Reinhardt misses even with the win, possibly.
Sure.
We'll see. But for Patel, Kohler, and certainly Orr, those are slam dunk inclusions in our top 8 now.
Yeah, we thought Orr was already in anyway.
Yep.
And so, picking up that win.
Yeah, or likely the 1 seed now.
Yeah, he might just be the 1 seed throughout.
Well,
you might have been right.
The gauntlet has been thrown. And that true name is going to resolve. And now the pressure squarely on Noah Walker. Oh. Delver does not flip. That was his best chance at keeping pace in this game. And we know there's a second true name in hand for Demicco. And that could be curtains for Noah Walker if that resolves.
Yeah, he really needed to flip this Delver.
Dreadhorde Arcanist.
In order to race in this matchup. Because if a second true name resolves here, to me, it's just impossible for him to race at that point.
Pyroblast off the top for Ed Demicco.
Little insurance there. Oof.
It resolves again. Ed points.
You.
Says, I'm naming you, Noah. And Noah going to take some damage. That clock is going to start doing its thing. Delver flips. Red Elemental Blast.
Oh, what a tease, right?
Not the time for that. Let's see if Noah even wants to keep that on top of the library. Looks like Ed's going to go ahead and fetch in response to the reveal. Gets a mountain. Time to Pyroblast. It is. I think we spell pierced in response to that. Is that what happened
Correct.
there? Okay.
Yep.
A little bit off camera, but Pyroblast was spell pierced, and Delver was able to get in for 3 points of damage. Ed still winning this race with backup in hand. Chain Lightning as well as Bedlam Reveler. Step 1, Chain Lightning. Take out Delver. Doesn't even care about the Arcanist right now. Makes sense when you have a big body to put on the ground.
The cards don't matter. Only life total matters at this point.
And Hydroblast is the response here.
Sure.
From Noah, but that really only cleared the way for Bedlam Reveler. Is that going to resolve? This would be a huge play for Demicco. It does. 3 cards off the top. That's a huge reload for this Is It Delver deck. Blocker at the ready for Arcanist. 2-turn clock now. Noah Walker needs to find a solution, find a win very quickly. Precarious 11 life. And who knows if Demicco picked up a removal spell for that Arcanist, maybe that Bedlam Reveler might just end the game this turn.
Yeah, it's tough because if Noah had a chance of racing, he needed that Arcanist to really, close out the game. It needed to be Lightning Bolt, attack with the Arcanist, use it to cast the Lightning Bolt again.
Right.
Like that was his only chance at racing to me. And now he's basically has to jump block with this thing instead.
Yeah, not a great position. Looks like Lightning Bolt in Ed's hand, possibly? Question mark? Ed, move your cards forward just a little bit. Just give me like an inch. I'm pretty sure that's a Lightning Bolt. Young Pyromancer. Effective reload, and I think a Ponder from that Bedlam Reveler. That is a saucy 3 cards.
Yeah, yep.
Here comes the Delver again. Insectile Aberration flying over the battlefield. Noah just passes the turn back. No. True Name Nemesis before passing. Okay.
Okay, and to me, that keeps hope alive.
I think so. I think you're right.
Because, that'll block this Bedlam Reveler all day. And then there's a significant swing of damage back the other direction.
Pithing Needle was the draw here. Not a great draw in this scenario.
Not good in this scenario. It's one of the reasons I wasn't sure he'd want to bring it in this matchup.
Right.
Because if the game's not about Ren and 6, the card is so mediocre.
Step 1, Ponder from Ed. Would love to see Noah go ahead and crack that fetch land. Oh, he does so. Ed should respond right now with Lightning Bolt.
Well, no,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Noah only had 1 card in his hand.
Here's the Lightning Bolt, and that is going to do it. Ed Demicco takes down Noah Walker in a battle of past Legacy Open champions.
Exciting
That's
matchup.
beautiful magic. Beautiful magic. I love, love, love these Delver mirrors. I could literally watch this all day.
Yeah.
That's basically my dream Sunday. Some people want to sit, watch football.